I'm here, it looks like in the 17th in a hotel room because I'm in Kaiserslautern now. Jochen is in Essen, and we have a big pleasure to make our input to your interesting panel. And I joined the startup pitches before, and we talk about also later. But now we have also a little bit input in this session, and I'm very proud to be here. And I talked to Jochen before, and we have some program points. And maybe Jochen, you also tell some words.
Of course. First of all, dear Dominic, thank you very much for this invitation. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, tonight we will hear a spectacular keynote on AI-driven diagnosis by Professor Martin Hirsch. I know Professor Hirsch since, I think, 25 years from Marburg. He is professor in Marburg at the Philipps University, a very famous old university founded in 1527. And I'm really happy that Martin agreed to give us this lecture. And Martin is not only professor for artificial intelligence, he is also the founder of Ada Health. And Martin, of course, is a true leader in the field of decision support systems. And Martin, the floor is yours, and thank you very much for your keynote.
So many good words about me. Thanks a lot. Also, thanks a lot of having me here. And yes, it's hard to give a keynote talk after all these interesting presentations. But what I want to do is to share some thoughts with you about digital diagnostics. And as most of you know, one moment. As most of you know, Daniel Netrat, Claire Noverall, and I founded Ada 10 years ago. And 10 years later, we see now some very interesting developments out in the market, which are also driven by Ada. And I want to share some thoughts about that with you. And as you know, diagnosis is the starting point of every healthcare journey. Yeah. So if someone is sick, he needs a diagnosis to get the treatment right. If the diagnosis is not correct, you will have trouble to find the right treatment and therapy. This is why it's a very important point when you have symptoms to find the right diagnosis. And this is why we decided 10 years ago to help people, patients as well as doctors, to get the diagnosis right. And today we have this chatbot-like AI-based system where you can enter some basic information which help the system to interpret the symptoms in a personalized way. You can add medication, you can add allergies, your health background. You can then enter your the symptom that is troubling you the most, and then Ada begins to ask you some questions about where is it located, how sharp is the pain, how strong is it, when does it occur, and so on. So it makes an anamnesis or medical history, and the result is a list of probable explanations for your symptoms, which are sorted by probability. And then you can tip on it and get some more information about that, and so on. Yeah, so I think you know Ada, and when we launched it in 2017, we saw suddenly a tremendous resonance in the market. And today we have delivered more than 20 million of these kind of pre-diagnoses to more than 10 million people in 110 countries. And this is always a sign, this resonance phenomenon, this is a sign that there is a need in society for tools like that. And I think this shows where the market will go, and that there is a huge opportunity in starting your care journey with such a device or such an AI-based system. But in the healthcare market, it's not only about growth, yeah, it's also about quality. And you can only be successful with an app or in an AI-based system if the medical accuracy or the quality of the information you deliver or you calculate is very high. Yeah? So what we did together with the Brown University in the US, we compared ADA, the diagnostic accuracy of ADA with the diagnostic accuracy of the competitors and GPs. You see the diagnostic accuracy on the left from ADA, on the right from 7 GP doctors. And as you can see, the quality of the diagnoses is more or less the same. It has been a vignette studies with normal cases. But what it demonstrates is that already 3 years after launch, such a system is on eye level with normal GPs. And this is interesting. Now imagine what we can expect in 3, 5, 10 years. So it gives also a feeling of how powerful these systems will become. And as it is always in this market, new capabilities drive new opportunities, and this generates new markets. And this holds also true for digital diagnostics. So let's have a look at the new capabilities. An AI-driven diagnostic support enhances the cognostic capabilities of humans. No single human is able to remember to store 12,000 diagnostic findings or 10,000, 20,000 diseases in his brain. Brains are not made for this kind of task. Think of the complexity of diagnosing multimorbidity. In Western countries, the population is growing older and older. So a lot of diseases, most people have a lot of diseases when they get old, and it's very hard to diagnose them right. And so humans need help from intelligent systems. And what happens with qualities and systems like ADA, new opportunities occur on the horizon. The barriers for citizens to care about their symptoms are lowered significantly because they can do the pre-diagnosis at home. They do not have to seek a doctor, go to the doctor, and so on, make an appointment. They can do it at home, and this is a very low barrier. Think also about Global South, where doctors are far away, but you can use your smartphone to get the first assessment. We will see in the very near future new options in care navigation. If ADA comes to the conclusion that the best explanation for your symptoms is a rare disease, why should it send this patient to a GP? Because most GPs do not know rare diseases. Why can't ADA send this or guide this patient directly to a rare disease center? This is much more efficient and helps people to get the diagnosis right much more faster. We will see diagnostic decision support systems in clinics to speed up the diagnostic processes, and we will see a tremendous acceleration in diagnosing rare diseases, because these systems will help us to diagnose them, to recognize them earlier. And now combine this with the new markets out there. These opportunities drive new markets. And remember these sensors from Apple, remember the lab tests from Thriver or Mitch Medical, and now integrate these lab tests, lab results, and sensors with capability, AI-driven capabilities like ADA. If you combine these things, then you have nearly everything you need to create a healthcare system, on your sofa at home. And and in Germany, especially, also a new market comes up, this reimbursement market of app usage, which is very interesting. This will boost up and will encourage young companies to go into this market and provide medical apps that help patients in a given situation. So these new markets will change the way healthcare is provided to citizens very fast. And but this, beside all these opportunities, we also interesting questions arise. Questions about our fundamental understanding of what healthcare is and how we provide it to the citizens. Because now we have the classical healthcare systems expanded up to the sofa of the citizen. Yeah? Today, healthcare system starts in the waiting rooms of doctor practices and clinics, but in the future, healthcare systems will start on the sofa of the citizens. And now a new mile between the sofa and the waiting room comes up. And this is a new space where we can shape the healthcare system of the future. Also, the doctor-patient relation will change tremendously, because the patient is empowered by AI systems, the doctor too. And so we have a third entity with the doctor, the patient, and the AI. And we have to find rules of how these three entities will interact. And this raises ethical and legal aspects, and questions. It's all about trust. How can I trust a system that I do not understand from the technological point of view? Okay, you can have trust in me, although you are not a brain scientist and know how my brain works, because if I deliver good arguments, then you can gain trust into what I'm saying. So arguments are a very important aspect of designing AI systems. But also think of the legal responsibilities of such an advice given by an AI system. Who bears the legal responsibility for that? The programmer, the data provider, the doctor who uses the system. Who is it? These are interesting questions. And also the aspect of regulation and medical device regulation of such self-learning systems, that's an unsolved problem until now. So, and all this is in digital diagnostics, and this is why I love this space so much. So to sum it up, AI-assisted pre-diagnosis at home clearly shows the disruptive and AI-empowered patients, as well as the need and the necessity for well-defined ethical and legal framing. And I think to balance this right is the big task we have to do now in the very near future. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Martin Hirsch. It's mind-blowing for me, your presentation, and I think you are academic big brain for me. A lot of new thoughts. And when you have some thoughts as someone who hears us out there, please use Slack, our channel, Networking Zukunftsmedizin. You can ask questions or give us hints for the next minutes, and Jochen and I try to answer it. So we are we hope you give us some questions. Maybe we start, but before we start, maybe you can also join our YouTube channel, because it's the last talk is with Martin Hirsch there about it was a talk about precision medicine and artificial intelligence. So join us at YouTube. It is called Digi Health Talk, and Jochen and I are glad if you meet us there. But we'll start with some questions. Maybe Jochen, you want to give us a question?
Yeah, Martin, thank you very much. My question is, what do you think will be the role of ADA and of course artificial intelligence in diagnostic of psychological disorders?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because the mental diseases are a space where also digital therapeutics might be a very good mean to heal this disease. So you can provide in the first step, maybe based on ADA, a pre-diagnosis or a diagnosis, and then hand over the patient directly to a digital therapeutic. Let's say maybe not here in Germany, but think of the global south, where you have no psychological doctors, or nearly no. So this, and we see clearly in ADA the rise of this of depressions, of burnout syndromes, and so on. So it is a serious problem for our society, and I think this will be one of the first areas of medicine where we will see a complete journey from diagnosis to therapy on a digital in a digital way.
Okay, thank you very much, Martin. I have a different question before Dominic asks a question from Emily Faulkner. She's a cyborg actually, and she asks, what about having AI systems that are transparent and explainable so doctors can actually understand the system better, rely on its recommendation? So years ago, a doctor could open a book or read a publication and know where the science or the know-how came from. And now he has an app. He cannot look inside the black box. So how can we improve it so the doctors will use it in the future?
Yeah, if an AI system that gives you a recommendation is not able to give you good reasons to believe in the result, it will fail. No doctor can rely on such a system. Yeah? It is absolutely essential that AI systems to support doctors deliver good reasons to believe in the estimation of the system. Yeah? Otherwise, they will not be successful. And it's not about transparency of algorithms. Yeah, it's about arguments. From the perspective of a doctor, it does not matter how the algorithm is programmed or which is the database below this result. Yeah, the result must be delivered with good arguments, and good arguments are, and that's a convention between humans, good arguments are based on knowledge, and knowledge is based on publication in trustworthy journals and so on. Yeah, so we have an old tradition in what are good arguments and what are bad arguments. And AI systems have to be respectful to this human tradition, and otherwise doctors will not be able to rely on these results.
Okay, Dominic, you had a question.
Well, thank you for passing the word to me. I was having a question from the doctoral perspective. I'm, as an orthopedic surgeon, mostly interested in the biomechanics of a human. So my diagnosis starts with a physical examination. So with me touching the patient's knee, bending the knee, stretching, seeing what range of motion he or she can perform and what's actually going on with the joint. Then I observe the walking pattern. I'm certain that there will be means, but how do you see the role of AI in that field of a very physical part of medicine?
Yes, interesting question. The way you just described how you examine your patient is the way humans examine other humans. Yeah? These devices on smartphones have other means on matters of how to examine your body. A smartphone always lives in your pocket. Yeah, so it has, if you allow it to the device, it can observe of how you walk, of how the balance is taken, of how the movement patterns are. It learns about your physical behavior, and now it can observe over time of how this changes. Yeah, and it can observe changes in the motility patterns and so on. So you can take sensors to measure pressure and how the joints move, and so these systems will generate a different picture of the person than we humans do. Yeah? So, and I think this is one of the challenges we have at the university if we train the students, the medical students, to explain them that there might be different ways of looking at a patient, yeah, and that the way these apps and sensors and lab tests at home look at a person also has a value, yeah, and is important, and that we have to accept this picture, and that we should find ways of how to combine this picture with a picture we gain from physical examination and so on. But we need a continuity of data so that the data of the devices from the patient can be combined with the results you just mentioned within your system. And if we put these data together, we gain a very holistic picture of the patient. And this is a tremendous opportunity, I think.
Okay, thank you very much, Martin. Dominic, would you like to answer something? Sorry.
No, I just wanted to thank Martin for explaining it in a way that even an orthopedic surgeon could understand it. With the help of his hands, he made it very easy so that something like a Labrador, a poodle, or an orthopedic surgeon could understand it. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for your comment. And I have a different questions in the Slack channel, dear Martin. One from Anonymous, maybe your competitor, I don't know. Are you assisting startups that work with clinical solution digitally by providing your AI platform to their solutions?
Oh, that's a very good question. Yes, Ada is working on that, but Ada currently has such many customers and huge customers where they have to provide a solution, and we only have limited capacity. So it will take some time until we can launch such an API. But yes, this anonymous person should contact me, and then we will find a way.
Okay, thank you very much. Another person, Justin Liesenfeld, asks, what form of healthcare data ownership regime would you propose to strengthen the user acceptance of digital healthcare solutions like Ada in Germany or even European Union?
That's a very tricky question. I think it's an unsolved problem. No, I have no answer for that. I think that in the end, the data have to belong to the patient, and they should not be in. But I do not know how to set up a technical solution for that, because we need data repositories that are on neutral ground, where these very personal health data are stored, and where only the user can say what to do with these data, who should have access to it, and so on. But this is still an unsolved problem, and even the electronic patient record here in Germany, they are not good solutions for that. There will be different solutions in the future, but this is complex.
Yeah, thank you very much, Martin. I think it was a great insight to Ada, to your thoughts. Thank you very much for your attendance here, digital attendance. And we hope we see you each next time face to face somewhere in Germany. And maybe Jochen, you can tell us what are our plans for Zukunftsmedizin next year.
Yeah, Dominik introduced the Zukunftsmedizin format, which started in Essen, then continued in Leipzig, and this evening a short part in Munich. And we will invite you cordially to the Zukunftsmedizin 2021 in Essen again, hopefully live, personally at June 18, embedded in the German Innovation Festival. And we will have two main topics. First, of course, artificial intelligence in medicine, and I hope we will welcome you again, Martin Hirsch. And second, precision medicine and precision prevention.
Yes, thank you very much, Jochen. And join us also on LinkedIn. Let's stay in touch. Join Jochen Werner, join Dominik Völlinger, join Martin Hirsch and me, so we can also talk beside these big formats. And yeah, now there are no further questions, so maybe we go to the third part of this session. The third part is again Dominik and Dominik about the startup topic, and yeah, we are glad to hear more about it. Who win the prize, Dominik?